What I want to talk about in this video is the liter. The liter. Let me write this down. The liter. And the liter is a unit for measuring fluid volume. So how much space does a fluid take up? So what does 1 liter look like? Well, one of these milk bottles is a liter, and you're most typically going to think about a liter in your everyday life when you're buying some type of beverages, milk or water. In fact, next time you go to the grocery store, see a lot of the bottles you get, they might be exactly 1 liter. Some of the soda bottles are 2 liters, but this right over here is 1 liter, and we'd write a capital L for short. That's 1 liter, and so there's 6 liters in total in this little carrying case. But each of these milk bottles is 1 liter. So that's a liter. But what if we want to go to really small volumes of water? Well, if we want to go to really small volumes of water, we normally talk about milliliters. Milliliters. Let me write this down. Milliliters. Actually, let me write it this way. Let me write milli in another color. Milliliters. So it's a milliliter. And a milliliter, a milli is a prefix that you'll see a lot when you're using units, and that means 1/1000th of a liter. So this means 1/1000th of a liter. And the notation for milliliter is a lowercase m and an uppercase L. Milliliter. Another way to think about it, it would take 1,000 milliliters to get to 1 liter. So what does a milliliter look like? Well, if you imagine these medicine droppers, a milliliter would be about that high on one of those medicine droppers. And a lot of these medicine droppers actually will have a milliliter. Actually, they'll have up to 5 milliliters marked off, but a milliliter would be about that much. Or if you were to take a teaspoon from your cabinet in your kitchen and you were to scoop out a teaspoon of water, so this one over here is going to be about 1 milliliter. And a teaspoon of fluid, that's going to be about 5. That's going to be about 5 milliliters. So another way to think about it is you would have to take 1,000 of these drops to fill one of these bottles of milk. 1,000 milliliters to get to 1 liter. Or you would have to do, let's see, you'd have to do 200 teaspoons of, say, milk to fill up this entire thing, because each of them is 5 milliliters. 200 times 5 milliliters, you're going to have 1,000 milliliters, which is 1 liter. Let me write this down. This right over here, this is 1 liter, which is the same thing as 1,000 milliliters. Now, what if we go to things that are much larger? What if we go to things that are much larger than the scale of a jar of milk? Say a swimming pool. And this right over here, this is a picture of a Olympic-sized swimming pool, which is, for the most part, the largest pools. Well, there are some larger pools at some fancy hotels and things, but they're very large pools. So what do you think would be if one milk bottle has one like this, has a fluid volume of 1 liter? What do you think about a whole swimming pool? Well, actually, a swimming pool like this, if it is 25 meters wide and 50 meters long and 2 meters deep, it actually would have a fluid volume. Are you ready for this? It would have a fluid volume of 2.5 million liters. So if you fill this up with milk, you could use that milk to fill up 2.5 million of these bottles. So that's just an appreciation for just how much fluid it would take to fill up at least a big swimming pool like this, an Olympic-sized swimming pool. A swimming pool that you might more typically see at someone's house who isn't, that doesn't have an Olympic-sized swimming pool, so kind of a house-sized swimming pool, is still going to be, it's not unusual to see one that'll be more than 100,000 liters. So once again, when you're thinking about teaspoons or drops from a dropper, you're thinking in the milliliter range. If you're thinking about the type of something that you might drink in a day or that your family might drink over, say, a week, you're thinking in really the liter range. And if you're thinking about how much fluid it would take to fill a swimming pool, now you're talking in the tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands or even millions of liter range.